Hey, this is Michael. Welcome in. In this video, I'd like to go over affiliate marketing beginner thoughts. What happens up here before we start learning and taking action, when we do get started, when we are in the middle, we continue to grow and expand, increase our knowledge and our action. Things are much more consistent. How we think, how we process all of this, it's very important. Imagine being on a freeway where one, you were given directions or somebody said, hey, come meet us here at our house. We're having a get together, a party, and it's across town. It's not too far away. You're going there for the first time, but you have to get on the freeway where there's congested traffic. It's likely a freeway you haven't been on before, or if you have, you haven't gone that far in that direction. So as you're driving on this 2 to 3 lane freeway, you are on the left side trying to go and pass cars to get there as fast as you can, or you are on the very right middle, you're just taking your time like I like to do. I'm a much slower driver. I like to take my time, take everything in, enjoy, not be in a rush or have to just speed and for any other reason. And so you're here on this freeway going in that direction and boom, traffic. Now that slows you down, that tracks you back a little bit in time and even energy. You might get a little frustrated, upset, complain. Those are usually the first thoughts that a lot of people have. And so now you're waiting behind the same car you were positioned. That car hasn't even moved, been able to go over from one lane to the next. They're having thoughts about getting off, maybe turning around and going back and not even have to go to this place. And you could be having those thoughts too. Like, hey, if I just get off this freeway, I could just stay on the streets and go home in one linear direction and then just take one right. Or you think I can find another freeway or another entrance ramp after I get off and go there. It might take me a little bit more time, but I can get there. I can maneuver my way through. I'll be fine. So we have all of these thoughts going on at a rapid pace. And it's common for them to happen and common for you not to slow them down. See, most people think quickly, which is good. It could be bad at the same time. The way they process, what they process, how they process it, and why they process it, when they process it, is super important. We could be both looking at the same thing, have a different perspective about it. And that's what happens online. It's no different. You look for ways of making money online. You see it, you hear it everywhere. Communication is even much faster. So it keeps your guard up. You have more safety and security now, thinking to yourself, wait a minute. I get a little bit more apprehensive, more on the defensive, because there's a lot of stuff happening. I'm getting email after emails, notifications, videos. We're opened and exposed to so much information. So you see communication formats similarly online as you do offline. It's just the way that that message is crafted and delivered is different, packaged different. You can use similar words, phrases offline and online, and then when you get to the online world, you see even more enhanced messaging because the marketing. There's more behind the value, the offer, the story, and everything that is happening there. And so we just have to lock in those messages and not just believe them all of the time right away. And if so, and it makes sense to, okay, and you followed somebody for some time, you've been following me for some time, I only want to bring you the most valuable resource and resources available on the market. I always do a full market analysis. This is what I do now with helping people in funding. If you didn't know this, I'm also a funding expert. I've grown multiple affiliated businesses, a digital marketing agency, a lead generation business, and other ventures. So I do know what I am talking about. And I'm not much of a talker. I'm the introverted, analytical, cerebral kind, who's having a hard time doing this, holding my phone up to make this video. How can I do it? I've learned the unlimited for life income skills, the high income skills, which I hope for you to learn and apply and continue to apply. It's great because you can use this not only in work, business, but also in any part of life, personal life, with family, friends, individually. It helps in your thinking and your processing, slowing things down and not just looking at it and saying, I'm going to do the most easiest thing because I'm most comfortable and because I see others doing it and I hear they're doing it, so I'm going to follow the herd. It's better to go with the herd than to be a lone wolf. So it's even more if that's part of your identity, to get off that freeway as quickly, to go do that event as quickly, that you know isn't best for you. Or if it is it worthwhile? Is it the only thing you should be doing and looking at? Because it's much easier to fit with the herd than to be alone. It's much easier to go with the grain than to go against it, than to be a market disruptor. So you have to listen to that, your gut feeling, your intuition, your heart, your thoughts. But also get the right information. If you don't, seek it, ask. And you can always leave me a comment down below. Leave me a comment. You can even just say hello. If you need help, there will be more information in the description for you to get started. So I check there, description and or comments. I'll have a resource or resources for you to get started. So check that out and the best way to get started. And so many years ago, when I was stuck in a financial logistics position for a huge contracting company servicing HP and others in the vicinity, I was very underpaid, undervalued. I stayed there for stability reasons post-academics, and I thought I would get a promotion or go up a role and take over the person's role in front of me, but that person did not end up retiring. And I was doing a lot of data, budgeting, inventory, analysis, shipping and receiving, coordination, truckers, different departments, lifting media boxes, having to deliver things. And then there's a downturn, 50 plus people relieved. Unfortunately, I'm one of them, and I have to go back on unemployment benefits and food stamp cards. This was one of, if not the hardest times in my life. My words can't show it. Like I said, I'm much more the person in my head, introverted, analytical, cerebral. So you can imagine if you're that person too, like how we think. And if you're not, that's fine. You could still think the same way about things. Going to the grocery store to pay with my EBT, I couldn't even look the person in the eyes most of the time. I'd hope nobody would be in front and behind me. I'd walk out of there so grateful and thankful as ever with my grocery bags. Here's little Michael walking out. And I'm the oldest brother. I have a younger brother. And stress level's low. Then they would come back up because I'd have to think about preparing my mind just to come back into it. And then the action of it, just super stressful. Going to have a family meal to cover 25, 50, 75, 100%, whatever the payment is. When I did, I still felt very bad. I wish I had more savings. I had much more protection, safety, comfort, that I can say, hey, I have emergency funds, or hey, I can put more into this part of my budget. I can spend more for a family meal and not feel guilty, not feel ashamed, not feel embarrassed that I wish I would have had more. And even when I did have some, it's like, I got to think about 2 days later, 3 days later. I want to live for the now. We don't have tomorrow. Yesterday's gone. We don't have tomorrow. We don't have another millisecond. We have right now, and that's what we make the most of it. So when people put things off, you have to think about that. What are you doing? How are you doing it? When? Why are you doing it? Most importantly, where's that coming from? It's from a belief system. And so at this company, all that happened, and just super stressful. And then when I wouldn't pay for a family meal, I felt even worse. You can imagine. And I did not want to continue to feel like a letdown and have my family think of me as a burden, even though they wouldn't tell you that I was this letdown or they were thinking I was a burden. It's what felt like to me. So at this position, luckily, I started preparing. I'm not going to go into the full extent of the story because of this video and the time that I want to keep it at. And you could learn about my story even more in depth over time. But I started preparing in this role. And long story short, I reconnected with an old friend on the Snapchat social media app one day while I was having lunch at this 3-story building at the very bottom in a dungeness looking area, brown cracks going in different directions, looking like it would open up and a black hole would open up and suck me right in. And then above me is a very bright yet dim light, kind of like in an interrogation room, like somebody would walk in and they'd put their hand on the desk and ask me, "Where were you on the night of?" So I was preparing. I started looking for things as we reconnected. He started telling me about concepts I already knew, but I just kept going. I thought, oh, I could learn about this. Got home, sped home. Every light was green. Why didn't I like speed past the limit? Just I was going through, and it felt like every light, for the majority of it, they were green. It's like another sign. Got home, put my left on my left shoulder. I have my Jansen backpack. I set it in front of my stair steps. I walked around the corner gingerly, and I lock eyes with my kitchen, and on the kitchen countertop is my laptop sitting from the morning while I was doing some research and looking up a few other things. And then I grab it, I set it on my dining table, and like a lot of us do, we begin to research. And that's what happened. And that's my journey and how it started. And I still hit bumps in the road. I watched video after videos, blog posts started free, and I knew that wasn't always going to be it. I needed better mentoring, better access to training, delivery, quality. And so I went back out there. I looked after adding things together on a website, writing blog posts, and then kept going. Started learning more about mindset because I needed more of that engine to get me going through the day. It wasn't really the nutrition. It was just getting me more in proper place up here to be more focused, doing the right activities, and having more energy at the end of it and recovering better. And so I went out there, looked for more of this stuff, and finally found the right type of training and roadmap to go under and piggyback off of other people's success and successes. So our thoughts, how we think of it, is like that freeway, and how we are when we're in our job. We're so programmed because of our belief system that we won't let go. We see something, we perceive it as this, and even if we haven't experienced it because somebody else has, we avoid it. Or hey, we don't want to do it this way, we'll do it that way. Or here, we're going to do it exactly how they do it. But is it the best way? And is it the best way for them? Yeah, it could be. And is it the best way for you? So not everything is as it appears. So we have to change our way of thinking and our belief system. Is everything actually factual, or is it just opinionated? If it is factual, does it apply to this right now? And is this fact that does or does not apply, is it holding you back? Because a lot of the times that's what it is. In our conscious and our subconscious thought, a lot of things just sit there in our beliefs and in who we are and what shapes us. And what comes up are our habits and our routines. So our habits then need to change, our routines need to change, which thus helps us with our confidence and thus helps us with our certainty. And it gives us much more courage when you have those pieces together. And so most people think about just, let me get the tactics. No, you got to look at the strategy below that. You have to look at placing everything, not having all of the certainty at once, because you won't have that. You won't have all the data to go off of all the time. You have to go and build that for yourself and experience it and go through those pain points, those problems, overcome them, make some mistakes every now and then, because that's what makes you stronger. And you think making a mistake will set you back. It may not, but it builds you. It's like, I'm not going to do that again. Here's how I avoided that. This made me stronger. So then when you build something, you're like, I got through it. That's what it is. And it's just about changing our beliefs and how we handle things. And if we don't handle them appropriately, what do we need to do to change it? It might be something characteristic traits that we need to change in ourselves. So we need to look deeper. We need to look at our value system. Is our value system aligned? Does our value system align with our vision? Does then that mission come after that? Where's our vision? Does our mission take place because of our vision and because of our values? We need to look at all that and our morals and our ethics. That's what's going to drive everything below tactics at the top. Strategies is your vision, your values, your vision, your mission, your morals, your ethics, your characteristic traits. That's going to be the thing that builds abundance. And so you want to build it, reverse engineer it by starting right here and what happens and building that. And then that's going to help you in your business. That's going to help you in your life. So I can go much deeper into this topic on how to think about something specifically, what, the when, the why, but I just wanted to give you that overview, and I can go deeper into this. And I gave you some illustrations and examples of the thoughts that beginners have, even intermediate. And as you're growing, you start getting better, and it starts lessening, and it's like more action, and You don't have second thoughts. You know this has worked. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to do an iteration of this. And if it didn't, okay, here's how I can do it. And you jump back into it quicker instead of in the beginning where you're like jumping from one thing to the next, or you're starting to do it and oh, I'm not seeing any result. Keep doing it. Stay consistent in it and keep showing up and watch what comes your way. So that's everything from me. Thank you for watching. Down below in the description, I'll leave more information and or in the comments on how to get started and the best way to get started. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.